Here's an example of a case that went terribly wrong with the public defender. They hired Rossen Law Firm and all went right. I'm Adam Rossen with the Rossen Law Firm, and in today's video, I want to share a story with you about a case that was going terribly wrong with the public defender, very serious case. And after about a year, the client decided to hire us. We took over and everything went very well from there on out. Now, look, this is not an indictment on the public defender's office in general. I've talked about other videos where, public defenders, there's some that are very talented and there's pros and cons to everything. Watch that video if you really want to know a little bit more about it. But I also do talk in that video about the top 5 reasons why a private paid criminal defense lawyer is better than the public defender. But in this specific video, I want to give a bit of a case study, case result video. So our client, his name was Jerry. He was looking at some extremely serious charges. Okay. I believe it was, he was a career criminal. He was what we call a prison releasee reoffender. And long story short, it was a robbery with a weapon. And he was looking at a mandatory life sentence if he was convicted of this crime. And the public defender got an offer, from life reduced to maybe 15 years. And the public defender was telling him, you have to take these 15 years. You have to take these 15 years. You're screwed. There's no way we're going to win in trial, et cetera, et cetera. And he talked to us and he said, look, I want you guys to examine my case. I really think we have a good case. And by the way, I'm innocent. I'm innocent of this, guys. And I need somebody who truly believes in me and is willing to stand up and fight. So we did with him a paid legal second opinion, which we often do. So for legal second opinions, we do charge a fee for that. For most cases, we don't charge a fee to meet with us. But if we're coming in and we're going to go in depth on serious cases, we do. And so, credit to him, he paid that fee. And we spent about a week diving deep into his case, seeing everything that was done, seeing what we thought was good and seeing what we thought was bad, and developing our new strategy. He came in, we met with him for about between 2 and 3 hours, breaking down his case. And sometimes in these legal second opinions, we'll say, hey, look, your lawyer's doing a great job. There's nothing that we would do differently. But in this case, there was a lot we were going to do differently. And basically what happened was the public defender didn't really do much. And the public defender, he seemed like he was overwhelmed, inexperienced, and just in over his head. He hadn't really handled cases of this magnitude before. And the amount of effort and time that it was going to take him to learn how to defend them and to defend, this client, Jerry, properly, he just wasn't willing to put in the work. And we see this sometimes from public defenders. And look, that's the good thing about, when he came and talked to us, we have the time, we have the desire, and we have the skill. So we broke it all down for Jerry and his family. And he made the decision to hire us. And immediately, what did we do? We started to get to work on all of the little nuances and things that the public defender had missed. The PD had actually missed 2 crucial defense witnesses that we immediately went out, had our private investigator interview, and list them on our list. The PD had not yet taken key depositions on the case, despite the case being over a year old. We immediately scheduled them and immediately started developing our theory of the case and really diving deep into everything. And we did that work and the case just got better and better immediately. It was almost overnight. And the prosecutors were still playing hardball in this particular case. And dealing with this prosecutor for a while, and a lot of times on these cases, sometimes, especially when you're dealing with serious cases, you really have to push the prosecutors to the brink. And that's what we did on this case, because this case got better and better and better. So they wouldn't budge from their offer. Our client said he was innocent. So he said, fine, well, that's what trials are for in the American judicial system, right? And our client wanted to go to trial. Of course, we always have those decisions with our clients and their families. And here we are, and we pushed forward and pushed forward. Well, day 1 of trial, we get a great jury. The alleged victim starts to testify, and when we cross-examine her, she completely crumbles. Her story was made up. We exposed all of the lies, all of the inconsistencies, all of the bias and motive for her to lie. The fact that, she made this all up. She was a drug addict, had severe mental health issues, and we just shredded her to pieces. Um, we were able to question the police officers who did a terrible investigation, not like what you see on Law and Order and on TV, where, in 60 minutes or less, they solved the crime. This officer just tried to make an arrest to get this case off his desk. And by doing so, he made the wrong arrest. And then we had our defense witnesses who were credible, who had never even been interviewed by the police. And, they got to tell their story in front of the jury. And finally, our client had justice. Okay. The jury found him not guilty. We had to push all the way to trial. It was a few-day trial. It was a lot more complex than that. I'm giving you guys kind of the brief summary of it. But this was an example where nobody believed in our client except for us. And, it was heartbreaking that the client had to go through all of that. And if he didn't have the wherewithal to, ask for or to pay us for a legal second opinion, and then look, he scrounged around his family. They made it work. We gave him a payment plan. We figured out the money stuff. We made it work because we believed in him. And he'd be in prison for the next 15 years if he took the plea. And if he gambled his life with that public defender, he probably would have lost and been in prison for the rest of his life. So, that's a story that I really wanted to share with you folks. Again, some public defenders are amazing and great. But regardless, whether you're going with a private attorney, a public defender, you really need to make sure you know who you're getting. I do talk about 5 major reasons why, skilled and good private attorneys are essential to being hired over a cheap lawyer or a public defender. I talk about that in another video. And if you have any questions at all, give us a call. If you're watching this video because you're frustrated with your public defender, give us a call. Like I said, in that scenario, we do a legal second opinion. It is paid, but the payment goes to the attorney's fees, and we keep it pretty reasonable because we want to dive in and want to be able to help people. So you can give us a call to discuss any of these issues, 754-206-6200.